morning, SHC. Happy Tuesday. I'm Mia Franceschi, and this is SHC Live. Now for our top stories. This week, about 100 students are joining us back on campus. We're glad to have you back. Social distancing is a huge factor in preventing the spread of COVID-19, so this week, we've decided to share what being 6 feet apart actually looks like. To start, 6 feet looks like an adult bike. It also looks like 2 sourdough baguettes. I know, they look good, but try and stay that far apart from your friend. 6 feet looks like the size of Steph Curry. Okay, technically, Curry is 6'2 3/4 without shoes, but you get the idea. 2 golden retrievers, a door, the width of a sedan, and the length of a yoga mat are 6 feet apart as well. For all my math lovers out there, 6 feet is 1.8288 meters. Finally, this one's my personal favorite. 6 feet is the distance between a pair of moose antlers. Moose antlers. I don't know why you'd want to get within 6 feet of a moose in the first place, but now you have a socially distant marker. Now, joining us is our favorite sophomore meteorologist, Kalia Gotland, with this week's weather. Take it away, Kalia.
Hi SHC, this is Kalia Gotland back with another installment of the weekly weather forecast. This week, the average is going to be in the high 50s. I recommend you wear a jacket to school. On Friday, we expect to see rain, so you might want to bring an umbrella, although we will probably be eating lunch in the cafeteria. I hope you all have a lovely day and you stay safe and wear a jacket. Now back to Mia.
Thanks, Kalia. Last week, I had the honor of sitting down and talking to Sister Frances and Brother Joseph about everything from SHC to some little-known facts about them. So, welcome to SHC Live, Sister Frances and Brother Joseph. How are you guys today?
Very well, thank you.
I'm doing okay up here.
What's something interesting about you that people wouldn't know unless they asked?
Okay, I think a lot of people don't know that I like to work with wood. I do a lot of little wood projects, and I have done those over the years. And it's something very special to work with wood. There's so many different things with wood that a lot of people don't experience until they've actually worked with wood. And we have good grains and bad grains, just like we have good things and bad things in our life. And it depends on what you make with them. And sometimes I've been able to make things work out pretty well with something that was not going to look so good at the beginning. But I like to do crafty things, and I like to bake.
Awesome. Okay, brother, what would people not know about you unless they asked?
Okay, one thing is I like the outdoors, okay, and I could stay inside, however, if it's cold. But the thing is the outdoors, and one fun thing I used to do is snow skiing. Somehow my ankles are able to wiggle enough to go over the bumps, and still come out on top. I like languages. Most people know, but one language I'm doing now because I find that it's not as a simple language, and it's Arabic. Arabic for me is almost like the challenge people have when they do crossword puzzles.
That's amazing. That is so cool. Thank you both so much for doing this interview, and we'll see you around school.
You bet.
Okay.
A huge thanks to Brother and Sister for sitting down and chatting with me. If you want to see the full video and maybe learn a couple of interesting facts, click the link below or check our YouTube channel for the full interview. Now, here with another Lasallian Vincentian Words of Wisdom is Scripture and Ethics teacher Miss Baldanzi.
Hi SHC, I'm Miss Baldanzi, instructor of religious studies and avid fishing enthusiast. Fishing is a great passion of mine. It gets me outside. It allows me to disconnect. It allows me to make new friends. It's allowed me to compete in fishing competitions and socially distance during these times. More importantly, it's given me life lessons in patience, of waiting all day, lessons in disappointment, of not getting the big one, and moving on from disappointment and not giving up on something I love to do. And interestingly, it's given me lessons that I bring into the classroom of a lesson plan that I think is great, and it turns out to be a sinker, the same way that sometimes I think I've got a great fish and it turns out to be a sinking log. It's also given me the ideas of, if the fish aren't biting on something, try something else. If my students aren't biting on something, try something else. I love fishing. It's what I do. It's what I love. And for SHC, I miss Baldiency.
Thank you, Miss B. Now, here's Ziamara Larkin with the latest on Black History Month.
Hey SHC, welcome to week 3 of Black History Month. Over the weekend, I got the privilege to interview Mr. Carl Reed, an alumni from SHC, to ask him how his experience was as an African-American male going to SHC and what Black History Month means to him. Check this out. So what does Black History Month mean to you?
I mean, I liken it like Valentine's Day. You know, it's celebrated once a year for this small amount of time, but it really should be celebrated throughout the year. And, for me, Black History Month is really just talking about and remembering the folks that have came before me and the struggles that they've gone through, and even the struggles that we're going through now as a Black community. And how do we continue to better the Black community, get understanding, help educate, make sure the education that the Black community are receiving is just as good, if not better, than some that might be in a privileged school.
In honor of Black excellence, this week's theme is, drumroll please, Black activist. Many African Americans have fought for the rights of Black people in many different ways. Some of the most famously known activists are Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, and other new aspiring young African Americans are coming up to rise against oppression, like India Moore, who has used her social media as a platform to stand up to systematic and institutionalized racism, and has used her social media to raise awareness for Black LGBTQ people, or Martise Johnson, who is a Black activist and law student at the University of Michigan, who fights for racial injustice with the police force. Those and hundreds of African Americans have stood up to the face of oppression and used their voice to create real change. As you know, Monday we celebrate Black women, Tuesday we celebrate Black men, Wednesday we celebrate Black youth, Thursday we celebrate LGBTQ and mixed, and Friday we celebrate international African Americans who have stood up to the face of injustice. Don't forget to check out our lunchtime games this Thursday and our movie on Friday. Also, keep an eye open for special events this week in honor of Black History Month. Finally, follow us on social media at SHC_BSU on Instagram. And in honor of Black excellence, happy Black History Month.
Thanks, Ziamara. Don't forget to give the BSU a follow. Next up, Mia Pardini sits down with Miss Maria Furtado, a new college advisor.
Hello, SHC Live. This is Mia Pardini, and today I'm here with Miss Furtado to talk about her first year counseling at SHC. So, Miss Furtado, to start off, where are you from?
I am originally from Massachusetts, New Bedford, Massachusetts, which is a small city down toward the Cape. So if you look at Massachusetts, right where it bends, right there.
So coming from Massachusetts to SF, what made you choose SHC?
Well, it was not quite a straight path. So I left Massachusetts in 2007 and moved to Florida to work at a different school. So I worked in St. Petersburg, Florida for 6 years at Eckerd College. And then I worked 7 years for colleges that changed lives, and I was working at home. And in between, I met my wife and we got married, and she got a job at the University of San Francisco. So we moved out here in, let's see, it was 6 years ago in February. So 6 years ago next month, we'll have been here. And it's always been one of my favorite cities. So it was kind of exciting to move here. And to live here is different than to visit here, but it's still one of my favorite cities.
And now that in-person learning has just started, what are you most excited about?
I might actually meet students.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing.
I have not actually met any of my 74 seniors that I'm working with, and I've not met any of the juniors to which I've been assigned for next year. So that's a little bit tricky, getting to know people over Zoom versus getting to know them in person. I think for college advisors, a lot of what we learn about our students when we work with them in the process are things that you learn when they kind of just drop by. So they drop by to ask you a question, and you start talking about something totally unrelated. How's your French class going? And then from there it goes to, oh, I think I'd study abroad in France. And then it goes to, oh, did you know such and such a school has this great program in France? And next thing you know, you've come full circle to college advising, but it really just started when they stopped by to say hello. So I think I've missed that. And so I don't know that I've been as, it feels like I've differently gotten to know students than I might have with that more casual opportunity where people kind of drop by and say, hey.
Yeah, it's very good that everyone's coming back. So thank you so much for coming.
Sure.
I really appreciate you being here. And for SHC Live, this is Mia Pardini.
Thank you both. With a piece on the recent impeachment hearings, here's Emerald Editor-in-Chief Eric Kostat.
On February 13th, the United States Senate concluded the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump. He was acquitted with 57 senators, including 7 Republicans, voting in favor of conviction, and 43 Republicans voting for acquittal. Of course, 67 votes, or a 2/3 majority, were needed for conviction and future disqualification from federal office. Senators on both sides of the aisle lauded the Democratic House impeachment managers. Texas Republican John Cornyn said that they presented their case masterfully. Ultimately, many Republicans, including Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, said that they could not vote to impeach as they believe that it is unconstitutional to impeach, remove, and disqualify a former president. Ironically, McConnell himself refused to allow the trial to take place while Trump was still the president. For more coverage of the 2020 presidential election, the 2021 Capitol insurrection, and the Biden-Harris presidency, be sure to check out our website. And for the Emerald, this is Eric Hosted.
Thanks, Eric. Make sure to check out the Emerald at shcpemerald.org. That's all for week 19. To leave you, here's some footage of volleyball and tennis teams starting their season 1 workouts. Good luck this year. I'm Mia Franceschi, and I'll see you next week. Live Jesus in our hearts forever.